if I've gotten asked by agents one question more than anything else, it's how can I get more listings? How can I become a listing agent? I feel like I'm spinning my wheels as a buyer's agent. I'm successful. I'm bringing on John Schuchman, who did 90% listings his very first year, flipped the script his second year, and did 90% listings. So I'm excited for him to share his story and his information. As always, his connection links and everything will be in the show notes, in the description on YouTube. So check that out. Would love to connect with him, and if you're interested in partnering with him and I at the Wolfpack, there will be information on that as well in the description. But without further ado, let's bring on John Schuchman of Lancaster, PA, to tell us his secret to getting more listings. What's up, guys? We have John Schuchman. He might as well be the host of the Real Estate Agent Playbook these days. We have him back to talk a little bit quickly about his seller strategies. Obviously, you've known the story. You've heard the previous 2 episodes over the last month or so with him. So John, today we're going to dive into listings. Tell us a little bit about, your history with listings and kind of where it all started and where you're at today.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me this because they're like, I want to list homes. Well, and here's what I would say, and this is going to be the simplest thing I say all day. You got to do something different. And you learn that a lot talking to Jeremy and learning from Jeremy. My first year, I did, I think 20 transactions, 90% of them, right? All but 2 was buyers. And what I learned was it was exhausting. Okay. So if you want to get into listings, you have to say, what am I going to do? Well, in all my coaching, Jeremy, this is probably the number one question I get asked, which is why I wanted to talk about it on my podcast there in July. But the thing is, well, what are you doing differently? So from year 1 to year 2, I flipped it. So year two was 90% listings, right? And people say, well, how? Well, and let me just tell you, this is not rocket science. I am not going to share the secret of life right now. I'm going to tell you something. You're going to be like, oh yeah, that's pretty simple. Why didn't I think about this? And one of the things, and you can go on my podcast, I talked a lot about it there at the end of the July, but I work hard for the client. So one of the things I think about in the business is how are you going to what's your plan? What's your strategy? I'll ask agents all the time, say to me, I want to get better at listings. And I say, what's your listing strategy? And they go, what? I don't know what you mean. And I'm like, well, that's why you're not getting listings. So if you meet somebody at the grocery store, if someone meets me right now at the grocery store and they say, John, what will you do and how will you get my home sold? I'm like, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pay for professional photos and here's my strategy. And then I walk them through, I need 1 week to have the home ready. And they go, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, we're going to get pictures taken on a Friday, right? Or Thursday. It doesn't really matter. But I need those pictures back by Monday. Okay. All my listings, this works. I have never in my career had a listing last longer than 6 days on the market. And again, that also helps to get more listings because if someone's sitting there or had to pull their house, you say, look at my results. I've never had a home last a week. So what I say to them is I've never had a home last that long. And here's what I do. I talk to them about my strategy. So professional photos and drone and video, and I pay for it out of my pocket. That stands out. I'm not sitting there with my iPhone 13, taking pictures of your house. Realtors, can you stop doing that, please? It's annoying and it makes you look like an idiot and not professional. So but I just say to the client, I show them the results and they want to list with me most of the time. Here's the other part is the way I've had success is I leverage, and I mean that in 2 ways. When we about to go under contract, I'm going to leverage those offers against each other. Okay. I'm going to say, I had it recently where I said, I had a home that was listed for $250,000. My highest offer was $265,000. Okay. And I had I had 6 offers, but 2 were the most competitive. So I said, would you like to make any adjustments? The one was at $260,000. They weren't even the top offer, but I said, and I said, would you like to make any adjustments? Even the top offer, I said, now I wasn't dishonest. I said, we are very close. Do you want to make any adjustments? So the $265,000 offer went from $265,000 to $270,000, and they, they took their appraisal gap from $5,000 to $12,000. I basically made the clients, between these two offers going back and forth, I made them an extra $10,000 by having 2 or 3 conversations, right? And so that's the thing where like some agents are like, nope, highest and best by Monday, which I think is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It basically to me says, I'm lazy and I don't want to negotiate. That's what it says. So be willing to negotiate and kind of leverage those offers. And here is like the one that I think realtors miss all the time, okay? When that home went under contract recently, we were out there Sunday. We were actually on our way to church Sunday morning. And I said, I need to film this video. Will you do it? And my wife did it. Almost every single time I am there taking a video or at least doing a social post talking about the success. So if you go to my Facebook, John Schuchman, and sometime mid-June, there's a video. In that video, I said, this is John Schuchman, eXp Realty, here at whatever address in Mountville. We changed out the signs this morning, Sunday morning. We weren't even on the market 36 hours, right? And so then I say there were 6 offers. So many agents are like, I want to do more listings. And all they talk about on social media is their buyers. Oh, this buyer's under contract, this buyer's under contract, this buyer's. I learned very quickly that one of the questions I got asked a lot in like my 6 to 9 months into the business, maybe even like 9 to 12 months was, I see you help buyers. Do you do listings as well? And that was like, oh crap. I'm not getting listings because I'm not talking about that I'm a listing agent. So now I can talk about, right? I was luxury certified listing agent, etc. And so again, like your social media people, like whatever it is that you talk about, is what people think of you as. Like there are people that still say to me, even though I try to leverage this more, like, oh, do you list houses as well? So, and leverage that success at the end. Like I'll be there at settlement day. I already recorded the video. Like, hey guys, we're here, blah, 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 whatever address. We got 20,000 more than the list price. And I talk about how I worked for free in the video, how that commission that no one wants to pay, I got more than what they thought they'd get for the home. So I know that was pretty long, but that's kind of how I've like leveraged some of those things and leveraged social media in my business.
Right. And I'll talk a little bit about my strategy. And it's funny because they're both very simple, right? I'll talk about my strategy next week on the episode. But John's strategy for listings is have a plan, right? And when you get it, have a plan to leverage it. Don't just, get it and figure it out from there, because by that time it's closed and you have no more leverage to multiply those listings. And I'm sure that that's exactly why he flipped the script in year 2 on that. So that's really powerful. My strategy, just to sneak peek into next week, is you need to have conversations with people that own homes. So people that don't own homes can't sell homes and can't become listings. So if you're looking at that, two pretty successful agents here, getting pretty basic. And in this lead driven paid world, everybody wants to find those listing leads, right? And the truth is that leads are kind of not even in my vernacular. I know people love leads, but I'm saying you have to have conversations, and until a lead becomes a conversation, it's worthless. And so that's that. So just some next level partnering stuff with John there. And that's why his membership is so successful, is he brings it back to the basics and it's implementable without a huge budget and all of that. So I super appreciate that. John, talk a little bit about the membership and about how you're helping those people kind of answer those questions and take it to the next level, from very basic to kind of next level. What are you doing in that aspect for the membership or your rev share organization?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first I'll just say, I think one of the things too is listen to what Jeremy just said. Like, Jeremy doesn't pay for leads. I don't pay for leads. Like, stop doing things that successful agents aren't doing. Right? Look at the successful people around you. What are they doing? You know what? Guess one of the things I've been trying to do later is like get on a schedule, go to bed earlier. Jeremy's going to yell at me about like get up earlier, because that's what successful people do, right? And so I don't sit there and go like, oh, Jeremy's successful, I want to learn from him. Oh, you do this? No, thanks. I don't want to learn that. Oh, no, I'm going to go pay for leads when all these successful agents aren't. So, but yeah, I appreciate the opportunity, man. I think I think the biggest thing is through the membership and mastermind, I teach realtors the things that they don't even see as potential in their business. So I'll share really quick about someone in the membership that we both appreciate and know very well, Jeanette. And Jeanette was, I'll just share her first name and not kind of give you any more details, but she was kind of going for a luxury listing. And she shared on one of the calls how she had a luxury listing potential. And I think so much of what we do is mindset. So for instance, you might say, well, what do you mean? Jeanette was on this call and she had some questions. So we were all talking about it. And she's like, well, I've never done a luxury listing before. What, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm worried about it. And I'm like, okay, stop. I stopped the call and I interrupted her. And I'm like, I'm sorry to be rude. I'm like, okay, we're going to stop saying that like immediately. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you have not done a luxury listing yet. And she was like, interesting. So she's like, and I'm like, no, we're not moving forward until you correct it. She goes, okay, I have not done a luxury listing yet. And I think it's so much of it is mindset, right? If you say, I'm not a luxury listing agent, guess what? You won't be. If you say, I'm learning and I haven't done it yet, you will be. And so I think a lot of what I teach is mindset, belief, that you can be successful in real estate, whether you're 20 years old or 40 years old, whether you sold one house or hundreds or none. There's potential for all of us to be successful in our real estate business by using some of these very, very basic things that we kind of were so busy with showing homes and this that we forget about this basic stuff. So yeah, people can.
That's funny because Jeanette, in that call, I was like unmuting, trying to talk faster, because I was like, what, like like what's luxury? Does it still have a door? Does it still have a kitchen? How about a furnace or, a heating system, whatever, and there's so much push because of these luxury brands, right? There's so much push that, you have to go through this luxury certification. You have to go through this. You have to go through that. It's still a house. There's still a deed. There's still a loan. It doesn't matter. The number is just a little bit higher, right? And show up to a luxury listing with video, with a marketing package. That's really the only difference, is do that. And you can probably double click on a couple Google searches and get a great marketing package for a listing, if you need that. Obviously, we offer that to all of our agents at the Wolfpack and things like that. And EXP has a great luxury division. And here's the deal. What people don't understand is all the luxury agents that built the luxury model at these other brokerages are coming to brokerages like EXP and building out what is a luxury division, but they're not charging people an arm and a leg to get into it. And so the luxury space is a joke, right? Like in Colorado and Denver, the luxury cutoff, self-proclaimed by I don't know who, some house along the way or something, is $1 million. Well, our average price point is $850,000 right now. And so if your average price point is only $150,000 less than luxury, what's luxury? Mm-hmm. Right. So it's just a mindset. Luxury is really being pushed by some of these brokerages that kind of have the luxury brand, which their luxury brand is just like, hey, paint your signs black and white or blue and white or maroon and white or whatever, and your luxury. And so that's something to really consider there. And there's no mindset. I don't care if I'm going for a $200,000 listing or a $2 million listing. I'm going there to build rapport with the client and do the things. And we'll talk a little bit about my listing strategies next week. So thanks so much, John, for that. Where can people find the membership and have access to you to maybe ask you a couple questions and pick your brain on breaking this huge, the number one question we get in lead generation conversations is, how do I get more listings? Like, hands down, every agent wants to be a listing agent. So where can people connect and have that conversation with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Social media, right? John Schuchman, website, therealestatesurvivalguide.com. And you're welcome to text me. I know we recorded a few and I don't care. You can send me a text and I'll jump on a call with you and just try to help. 610-568-4651. Really, I want agents to find and be successful and not right. You don't have to spend $20,000 on a course to get it, right? You can find it. And actually, most of it is probably within yourself. And you just have to have that uncovered from somebody like myself and Jeremy.
Yep, absolutely. And if you're interested in partnering with John, you can talk to him there. But also, If you're one of those people that just needs a little more trust aspect, check out his podcast. He won't even know you're listening to it. He demonstrates great value there every single week, 2-3 times a week sometimes when he's getting crazy. So check that out as well. But thanks so much for your time today, John, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, bro. 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm a crazy person, but I love it.
And he won't even know. So you can be that creeper, just checking him out, making sure he's the real deal. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If that got you excited, if you have more questions about his strategy and how he became a focused listing agent after being in the business for just 1 year, please reach out to him and connect with him. As always, please like, comment, subscribe here on the Real Estate Agent Playbook. If you're listening on podcast, please share this as we're growing that community. Leave me a review. I would love to be of assistance to you any way I can, as you know. So thank you so much for tuning in. Connect with John, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Bye-bye.